Hi everybody, I'm Greg and welcome to Goodbye Gluten.
Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel.
So today we are going to be making a super awesome surf and turf dish called the Epic Crab Boil. So let's see what you're going to need to make this awesome dish to please your family. Okay, this recipe is for roughly 2 people. Okay, so about 1 to 2 crab clusters, and these are snow crab legs. Yes, I'm so happy that they actually started going down in price because, the ban on the fishermen, the crabbers, they couldn't crab for a couple of years because they overfished. So that's why crab got real expensive the last 2 years. Okay, about a half a pound of mussels. These are green mussels. I don't know why they call them green when they're black. And then you got yourself some clams, about a half a pound of that. Okay, 1 ear of corn, which will be cut into 4 sections. So you can have more corn if you want. About a third of a kielbasa. We like Hillstarter Farms because it's gluten free. Then 2 lobster tails, and these are, optional. That's optional, these are optional, but generally these, the crab, and then about 4 to 5 little red potatoes. They're about, 2.5 inches long. Okay. And then you're going to need about a half a cup of salted butter for dipping, unless you want to make your own tater sauce. Okay, so now lemon juice, about 2 to 3 teaspoons of this will go into the actual water. Now you can actually get your own Creole seasoning. This is Tony Characters. I like his, or Cachieres. I don't know how to say that. That's French. Okay, or what you can do is make your own out of a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of paprika, teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and then a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and that's going to be your thing. But this is actually 2 tablespoons of salt because I'm going to be putting about a tablespoon almost into the water itself and add some of the spices. Now this is cornmeal, about a half a cup of cornmeal, and this and a tablespoon of salt will go into a bowl with water for the clams so you can get all the sand that's in their stomachs purged out. We're also going to purge out these guys. Now one thing you want to make sure that when you're doing these mussels, okay, that they're closed. See, this one's kind of opened. I mean, he's kind of strong still, but some of them, if they're opened up and you tap them, they don't close up, then they're kind of dead. So you don't want to use those. See, like all these guys, they're all nice and closed. So what we're going to be doing you're going to start doing these, prepping these guys about 2 hours before you actually start your crab boil. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, here's your main things you're going to use to cook and prep your crab boil. A large pot to boil them in. If you're only doing one person, right, you only got like 1, maybe 2 crab clusters, you can always just fit them into a small one like this. It's probably about a 12 quart, maybe about a gallon and a half. 2 bowls so you could prep your mussels and clams. A colander to dump it in, because you're going to use this a few different times. A bowl to put it all in, because it looks pretty neat when it's just all piled up in there. And then something to put your shells and stuff in, which we call the graveyard bowl or plate or pie tin. Okay. So first things first is you see all these little green things on them. That's basically little miniature barnacles, seaweed. So you want to kind of scrub them off. with a really stiff bristle brush or a little scouring thing like this. Run it over cold water, and it comes right out. Okay, and then we're going to just put them in a bowl of cold water. Now, if you see any like little hairs sticking out of the back or anything like that, go ahead and just pull those out. Make sure you don't pull their guts out. Okay. Now we're going to put these in a cold area in the house, not in the refrigerator, because you want those bivalves to open up and just purge themselves with all their food and whatever, and just get that water going through their system. Okay, we got mussels sitting here, so let's go ahead and grab another bowl of water, a little larger this time. We're going to take our cornmeal. About a tablespoon of salt. Just give it a stir. Now what this is going to do, it's going to help the clams purge out all of their sand that's in there. We're just going to give it a nice stir to make sure it's all mixed together, the salt water's mixed together. Okay. We're just going to simply take those guys and put them right in there. And like I said, this one, you want to have these sit for about 2 hours. This one's going to be sitting for definitely at least 2 hours. The mussels take only about 20 minutes. Now you know some are floating. I mean, they could be dead. They might not be dead. They could have just purged out some of their stuff, and now they just closed, and now they got a lot of air inside them. So they definitely will be able to see which ones are alive when they sink to the bottom. One thing I did forget to say, which was shrimp, about roughly, quarter pound to a half pound per person. It's a lot of shrimp, probably about like 6 or 7 of the big ones. But I forgot to go to the store to get those when I went to go get all the other stuff. So mental note, make sure you grab your shrimp too. But I figure, we have all this other stuff. It's not really going to be missed. So let's get back into the cooking part. It's been an hour and a half since we started the clams. So now we're going to start filling up our water and getting ready to do the actual boil. Okay, set it to high and let this start to get to boil. Okay, so it's getting ready to it's starting to heat up. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of my lemon juice. Just a few jiggers. Probably about 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to do onion powder. I'm just going to eyeball this. That was about over a teaspoon, yeah. So about a half a tablespoon. Don't need much of this, which is Italian seasoning, so that was about a teaspoon of that. Teaspoon of garlic. If you want to use raw garlic, go ahead and drop 2 little cloves into the water, and that'll be really good for it. Okay, paprika. I'm going to do about a half of a tablespoon. And then a tablespoon of salt. Now we'll get this to boil. So once we got it to a boil, I'm going to add the potatoes. carefully. Those are going to be going in for a full 20 to 25 minutes, but we'll be adding stuff in as this boils on. So we're going to go ahead and start prepping our corn and our sausage. Corn's prepped. So the corn and the sausage are basically going to go in at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and chop to about 1.5 inch sections. So about 1 to 2 per person. Okay, so now it's been time to go ahead and drain the mussels. Drain the clams. Yes, they look kind of goopy. It's fine. Put this on a very cold and since they're now all rinsed, we're going to put them in the pot. Okay, so we dropped the temperature down to basically a medium, and once the potatoes started boiling, we're good to go. So it's been about 20 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and drop the temperature down to medium and start putting in our corn and our sausage. And we're going to cook this part for about 10 minutes. Okay, so this is where your magic is going to happen. Take our mussels and clams. We're going to take our lobster tails. And we're going to take our crab clusters. You need to use a pair of tongs to get those guys into the water, just like so. Now it's going to take about 5 minutes for these to all cook. So we're going to go ahead and prep our butter. This is only for one person only because my son doesn't use butter. So I'm just going to do a little sprinkle of Italian seasoning and a little seasoning of garlic salt. Okay, now here is a great alternative. My son uses this for his crab, shrimp, everything. 3 tablespoons of Miracle Whip, 2 tablespoons of red hot sauce, Frank's of course, and 1 tablespoon of ketchup. You just mix it up together and it's a great dipping sauce. So here goes the butter into the microwave. You notice I put a paper towel over this because butter tends to spatter. Okay, it's been time, so we're going to go ahead and slowly pour. Oop. That's a wee bit hot. Go ahead and stop. Stop the time. Be careful because the water is extremely hot. Go ahead and do it in sections. Or if you want to use tongs and just grab the stuff out, you can. Okay, this is literally my favorite part of the videos. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of the crab legs out. Oops. A little bit of chunk flying off at me. Now you're wondering why I have a fork, because sometimes these crab legs need a little prying open. But generally, they don't. Sometimes they do when you break it in certain sections. Dip in a little butter. Oh my god, it's so good. We got our sausages, we got our potatoes, we got clams and mussels, and oh, don't forget our little lobster tails. So, remember this, folks. Going gluten-free is not that bad of an idea. Now, most of this is gluten-free, so this is most... So remember this, saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste. Have a great day.